Hello everyone, the story I'm going to share today is The Donkey Repays Her Debt. As morals of mankind continues to decline, some bad beings and evil spirits also take the opportunity to reincarnate to the human world to harm people with black magics. However, evil will never defeat good, just as people saying, harm others is to harm yourself. From the following story, you will naturally learn it. The story took place during the Tang dynasty. There was a hotel in Bian Zhou. The owner was a widow named Sanniang. She was about 30 years old and lived alone. No friends or relatives came to visit her, and no one knew where she came from. Sanniang's hotel was small and only had a few rooms. She also owned several donkeys, which she kept in a large barn behind the hotel. Because she sold them for a very low price, people traveled from far away to purchase her donkeys. In the year of Yuan He of Tang, a man named Ji He was traveling to Luoyang, the eastern capital. By the time he arrived at Sanniang's hotel, it was very late, and there was only one room left. Ji He put all things in his room. Just as Ji He was about to sleep, Sanniang called all the guests to the main room to eat a hearty meal she prepared for them. They all ate and drank together until midnight. Ji He had never drank wine before, so he only ate some vegetables and talked. It was very late, and everyone was drunk, so they went to their room to sleep. Everyone was sound asleep, except for Ji He. He kept tossing and turning. His quilt was hard and itchy, and the loud snoring from the other guests kept him awake. Suddenly, he heard a rustling sound coming from the next room. He listened carefully and thought someone was moving furniture around. When Ji He nervously raised his head and looked around the room, he noticed a seam in the wall. He quietly got up and crept to the wall. When he looked through the seam, he saw that the next room was Sanniang's. He held his breath as he watched her taking off the plow, a wooden axe, and puppet from a small box under her bed. She put these things in front of the stove. When she drank a mouthful of water and sprayed it on them, they became real. The scene was so astonishing that Ji He could not move. Suddenly, a piece of land appeared in front of the stove. The little puppet drove a wooden ox and plowed the land. Next, Sanniang took out a bag of buckwheat seeds and handed it to the puppet, and it started sowing the seeds. The buckwheat grew higher and higher and soon sprouted ears. Within an hour, the ears matured. The puppet harvested the ears and shredded them. Next, Sanniang brought out the millstone. She told the puppet to grind the grain into flour. After the puppet was done, she put everything back into that little box. Then she used the flour to make pancakes. By this time, Ji He felt numb and speechless. He thought, what kind of hotel is this? After a little while, he heard a rooster crowing. He immediately lay down and pretended to be asleep. When Sanniang heard the guests getting up, she took the pancakes, which were still warm, and called them to have a breakfast. Ji He didn't eat any pancakes because he felt that something was definitely wrong. He excused himself by saying that he needed to leave early, and he hurried out of the hotel. He did not leave immediately. Instead, he hid nearby because he very much wanted to see what happened to the guests after they ate those pancakes. He watched the other guests sitting around the table eating the pancake. Soon, one after another, they collapsed to the floor, and white foam began coming out of their mouths. Then they began breathing, and in no time, they all changed into donkeys. Sanniang came with a whip in her hand. She beat the donkeys and drove all of them into the barn behind the hotel. Jihe quickly left. When he finished his business in Luoyang a month later, he returned to the hotel. Before he got there, he made several buckwheat pancakes. The size and appearance were exactly the same as the ones Sanniang made. Jihe arrived at the hotel that night. This time, he was the only guest, and Sanniang welcomed him with a smile on her face. Jihe asked if he could stay in the same room he had the last time. He told her, "I need to leave early tomorrow. Please prepare breakfast for me." Sanniang was very happy because Jihe's request satisfied her intention. She happily agreed. Soon, Jihe went to his room and prepared to sleep. At midnight, Jihe observed the same thing he saw before by watching through the seam in the wall. At daybreak, Sanniang came with a plate of pancakes. When she went away to get water, Jihe quickly exchanged the pancake with the ones on the table and began eating his own pancake. When Sanniang returned, he said, "Oh, I forgot. I actually brought pancakes too. You may taste mine. See whether it's as good as yours." While seeing, Jihe took out exchanged pancakes from his bag and handed it to her. Sanniang took over the pancake and ate it quickly. Just as she finished eating, she fell to the floor and began braying like a donkey. In the blink of an eye, she changed into a very muscular-looking donkey. From then on, Jihe rode the donkey wherever he went, until one day he was riding her on the road to Xiyue Temple. A white-haired Taoist passed by. The old man turned around, clapped his hands, and laughed out loud. He said, "Ha ha, Sanniang has changed into a donkey." The Taoist took the donkey's rein and said to Jihe, "Although Sanniang made mistakes, she has been a donkey for several years now. Don't you think that she suffered enough and has now repaid her debt? Take pity on her and let her go." Jihe agreed. The Taoist reached into the donkey's nose and mouth. Suddenly, Sanniang leaped out of the donkey's belly. She still looked the same. With tears in her eyes, she knelt in front of the Taoist and kowtowed to him. Then she hastily got up and left. From then on, no one ever saw her again. Thank you very much for listening to the story. More touching stories will be ready for you if just subscribing. Thank you again.